Composite Gloves here, and we got a flood warning today where I live. But in other news, we are going to be talking about the Fruity Delay Bank. We're going to be talking about the filter section, which is far more important than any flood warning. So, what is this? So, we have our delay, and you should be familiar with the concept of a delay after the several delay videos that I've done, the previous one and the Fruity Delay 2. So, signal comes in, and we figured out how to route it. And we know what all this stuff does, but we have these filters. What are these filters all about? Like, what's the deal? Well, what happens is you can filter your signal as it goes through here. And you have multiple filters. If you don't know what a filter is, then you need to go watch my basic filter shapes. And then if you want to get crazy with filters, then after watching the basic filter shapes video, you need to go watch the videos previously in this series on the Fruity Love filter, and then you'll be like all familiar with filters and all sorts of jazz. So this has filters built into it because, whoops, I am sorry about that. There is just an amazing barrage of filters. So right now I've got a Harmer, but I just realized it's kind of lame to use Harmer because not everyone has Harmer. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you don't have Harmer. So I'm going to use Harmless. It's free. It comes with FL Studios when you buy it. So it's the bomb. So I'm going to turn the pluck on. And you can see our delay is working, which is a good thing. So let's talk about these filters. You have this post and pre. This just determines if the delay. Okay, so we have this filter here, and you might be saying, why do we have a feedback filter and a regular filter in the same deal? Like, what's the difference? Well, this filter has the option of being, you can have your delay processed, so your feedback, and then your feedback filter, and then it goes to the filter, or you can have it pre. So this is post, which is after, or you can have it pre, and then it will be processed through this filter. Then it will go through your feedback, then it will go to this filter, and then it will go out. And you can have these filters off. So this is much more noticeable, obviously, when you have both filters going, and it's an automatable. Oh, it's not an automatable parameter. I thought you could automate it, but I was wrong. So that's so interesting that you cannot automate this, because that's something they actually recommend doing. Anyways, let's talk about these filter types. So this one's off, so nothing. And let's talk about these 1, 2, 3. So we have a low pass. So you should be familiar with all these already. So let's just really quick talk about order of filters is more my concern. So we have different filter orders. So you see this shape right here? This is the rate at which, in this case, this is a low pass. It just so happens to be. And let's say we want this to be more dramatic. Well, we go to order. We go to steep 8, and bang, you see that? So that has a steeper slope, and this slope is expressed in minus dBs per octave. In this case, it might be like, it's something really steep. It's like minus 18 decibels an octave or something like that. Well, this is an EQ. EQs aren't meant to be filters in that regard. They're meant to be attenuators for your spectrum so that you can shape your sound and do things. I happen to use this as a filter a lot anyways. And there are ways of changing this. And this negative 18 isn't exactly definitive because you can have multiple things here. That's actually more than 18. You see, it can actually go below that line. So there's a whole bunch of things about the EQ2, which is also covered in this series. But anyways, this has the same thing. So we have filter 1. This is a first order. So this is the least severe. I believe this is 12. I believe 2 is 24, and 3 is actually around 36 or somewhere around there. So 36 decibels per octave. That's a super steep filter. So that is available to you in this delay plugin. Versus 2. And so maybe you can hear slight delays. Let's add some more high harmonic stuff. So I'm going to just not. So there's the first order. Here's the second order. You see it comes down faster, and you can see that one has the most high frequency content. And we can adjust the we can adjust the cutoff right here. We can adjust the resonance of that cutoff, which should be familiar terms to you, and we can adjust the gain. So you can increase the signal. Let's say that this is coming to after the first filter. Well, in this case, it's pre. So we have this low pass, right? And it could be getting pretty soft. So you might want to boost the gain up so that when it reaches our feedback So it goes through our feedback. It reaches our second filter, right? And we might want to do a bandpass on this. Well, we've got a third order. Well, this time it's a first order, and we're going into a third order. And maybe it's not hitting the filter hard enough, so we could turn the gain up here, get sent here. And now this filter will have a greater effect because it's got more material to work with that hasn't been filtered off. And that's pretty cool. It'd be more helpful if I was actually playing in time. But that is a thing. So that's what these do. And they are the exact same thing over here. So all that's left is filter types. So if you aren't familiar with the acronyms, this one's off. We can right click to look at them easier. We have low pass, band pass, notch, high pass, low shelf, peaking, and high shelf. All of these are covered in my, I believe I cover them all in the EQ video as well, but they're also covered in the filter basics. And then so in the order, LP stands for low pass. It's a pretty universal thing. BP's band pass. Not is notch filter. It does not mean that it's not on. So just so you know, I've actually, as far as of mistakes I've made when I was first getting started, that wasn't one of them. So I'm proud to say that because I made a lot. And so we have HP, that stands for high pass, not hit points. We have LS, which is low. Ooh, I forgot what low S is. Low shelf. Okay. I was going to say low shelf, but then I was like low shelf. So yeah, that's a perfectly legitimate filter. I don't know why I was thinking about that hard. We have a peaking filter, a high shelf filter, and that's it. That's all of them. So you can combine these filter shapes in interesting ways. You cannot adjust the Q when that's available. So that's a little bit of a like what the heck type thing, because that could be pretty important with your resonance. Something you need to be aware of. Let's say this is off and this is a high pass. High pass. There it is. And so we've got a third order high pass. It comes in, goes through this magical feedback area that you should actually kind of know what it does based off of the Fruity Delay 2 video. And so we're playing our sound, right? And that's all great and dandy. We're going to turn the gain up. We have our cutoff. We're going to move our cutoff up, but we're going to turn our resonance up. Now, I've warned you about doing this. This could be a very horrible idea. Oh, you see it's already working. I don't even... That's why that's a bad idea. Turn it up again. See if it comes back. It does. So if there's any signal left whatsoever from there and you decide to boost the resonance on it, this could be a creative mood. It could a creative move. It could also be a reason you rip your headphones off and are like, because it does that. It gets really loud. And that's your resonance. You're adding a boost in audio right there, and it's actually so loud that it creates an infinite feedback loop because it can keep high passing it, but your high pass cutoff doesn't cut the resonance off. And so it just keeps going through this infinite loop and it just will never end. So you need to be really wary of your resonance. Like, I bet it might still even work. Nope, it is gone. So yeah. So you could do some really interesting moves with the knowledge of this resonance. That's why I think it would be outrageously cool if you could get a pitch shifter in the Fruity Delay Bank. If we could do that, that would be like, oh my gosh. Like, imagine the magic junk you would get into. Like, it would be insane. So that's my request for improvement on this one, is add a pitch knob for adjusting the pitch of the feedback. That would just be so cool. So that's that. That is the filter section. Let's go ahead and make something. Let's I'm gonna keep one as its own thing. Let's just make something fast. So we're not fast. We want to be creative, right? So we're gonna go A minor, A minor, F, and then A. And then we'll go G. We'll just keep it simple. So that's pretty simple. G, F. And then let's go to E say end it off. So we've got this going on. Let's turn our first filter. Let's turn it on. Let's make it pre. Now let's put this down here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to automate the filter on. I'm going to automate this filter. Let's automate the resonance, and let's just get creative with that. Let's automate this cutoff. Bring this resonance up. Hey, that's pretty cool, actually. Let's bring it back. Oh, let's bring it all the way down. We want that. Moving the filter. Now it would be kind of neat is if we turn filter bank 3 on. We have it on a notch pass. I'm trying to show you why you'd want multiple banks. And we want this in post. So afterwards, we're not going to use our feedback filter. So I guess post doesn't really matter. It's going to come out independently. So this is going to be routed in parallel. And we want our cutoff to be relatively, what is this? I want a low pass. I'm thinking about it. High shelf, high pass. Where is it? Low pass. And we're going to make the cutoff relatively low. And that way we still have some stuff going on while this moves out. So we can move this in and out, and we'll actually get different delay with different filter types coming in seamlessly. So yeah, I'm not going to touch the resonance on this. We could even have this come in at a different time slot. And then imagine if we slapped a reverb on this to top it off too. We could even automate the reverb to come off. That's an all notes off command right there too. If you also known as a panic button, in case you don't know what that is. We could automate reverb. We could automate the dry signal to come in. Which that was a resonance thing. Oh, that's because I stopped the resonance. And then we could come in here and we could do something like, what are we doing first? We're doing A. G. It'd be kind of cool to put this on the backbeat and see what it does, but I'm not gonna. And E. So we'll come in here. We'll get this thing going on too. And let's even go into filter. Let's route filter 3 into the next, and let's add some bandpass filtering to our magic. Yeah, I want it to come out independent, but I don't want it to receive its own input. Band pass. So we're going to get the low pass output straight, and then we're also going to get the band pass output. And I want it to be a third order. We're going to need to increase the gain over here. This is before it goes out, so this will make our low pass louder too. We're going to turn the post not on, and we're going to turn the cutoff up quite a ways, turn the resonance up a little bit, and let's do that. Oh, there it is. I was checking to see if it was moving. I was like, these aren't moving. I forgot to turn 4 on. So you can see we get pretty fancy here and do some interesting things. And these are pretty simple ideas, and we could get even crazier as we get further in the series. So that's all that there is for this tutorial. And hopefully now you're a filter guru and you know what you want to touch. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments, subscribe, and have a blessed day.
Opposing wolves. Reversing.